Hello, this is Scott Biceno of telecoms.com at the Ovum Digital Futures 2018 event, and I'm chatting to Ronan de Renesse. Now, you actually work for Ovum.
Yes.
I've known you for a little while, Ronan, mainly because you were introduced by my mate Ed, who also works at Ovum.
Yes.
And I've always known you as a smartphone guy, as I was before I did this job. But I gather it's been a little while, a year or two since we last met.
Yes.
Didn't even know you'd gone to live in the States for a bit.
Yes.
That you sort of branched out, you're still doing that, but you're more general sort of consumer devices and all that sort of thing. So I guess I'll put the ball in your court and just say, tell us something interesting about these sectors that you're involved in at the moment.
Yeah, so everybody's heard about smart speakers, and smart speakers,
we've been chatting a lot about today.
Yeah, so they're very popular in the US, in the UK as well. So you got more than 20% adoption rate in the US for smart speakers. But I believe actually the use of digital assistant is going to be more prominent on TVs. So if you think about Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant, the number one device for those is smartphones. People use them on smartphones first. Then the number two device would be the TV, rather than smart speakers. Because there's an untapped opportunity in the TV market. There are like a very high penetration, over 50% in the US and in the UK as well, of connected TVs.
Yeah.
So TVs connected to the internet. And it's fairly easy to transform those TVs into the equivalent of smart speakers.
Yeah, because you've already got the sort of cloud AI support and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, and you just need to have a microphone, basically. So you can embed that into your remote control.
Right.
And then you'll be able to do that. So
people will typically not be shouting at the telly, but they'll be talking into their remote control.
Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of that. I think as well what the TV brings is a massive display. So a lot of the queries or requests you may have, we come back with some visual experiences as well. So which would be great. It's great for advertising as well. So if you think about those services, how do you monetize AI? It's a big question.
So right now, I mean, as you say, everyone's got a smart TV to some extent. My TV is rigged up to catch up services, or I get onto stuff like Now TV through my son's PlayStation or something like that. It's not entirely satisfactory because we have to muck around switching between different inputs and all that sort of thing. What you seem to be saying is moving on to an era where TVs function a lot more like we've come to assume smartphones will be, where the interaction's a lot more intuitive, a lot more natural, and a lot more useful. Is that right?
Yeah, I think smartphones are still very different from the TVs. So you won't do as many things on your TV as you do on your smartphone because your TV is not with you all the time, and there's a lot of applications that really
you don't really need Google Maps on your TV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think the TV is going to be more important, and I think a lot of the companies we've been talking to recently, that being the big tech giants or telcos or pay TV operators, they're all investing quite heavily into this kind of AI interface for TV.
Okay, so what about install base? Let's say in Western markets, UK, US, Western Europe, whatever, what proportion of TVs these days are running something that can support this AI-driven voice UI?
So that's a difficult question because there are a lot of very old TVs in the market, right? So if you think about the install base, I would say maybe a third to a half.
What about sales then? Are they generally
sales about 80,
new ones?
80, 90%, very high percentage.
I see.
So it'd be difficult for now, now if you are going to a store to buy a TV and for it to not be smart.
So when I get a new telly, chances are it'll have all the bells and whistles, whether I like it or not.
So if it's a LG TV, it would have WebOS. If it's a Samsung TV, it would have Tizen, which is the operating system. If it's a Sony TV, then you have Android TV.
So Sony's quite in bed with Google on TVs.
Yes, very much so.
Okay. And we haven't seen an Apple TV yet, have we? Everyone's been talking about iTV for a while.
Well, they have the Apple TV box.
The box?
Yes.
Which they always called a hobby. Even Steve Jobs, when he was alive, called it a hobby, didn't he?
Yeah.
But they haven't gone full blown. Apple seems to have been a bit tentative about TV. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I think they're thinking very hard about it, but Apple is very much focusing on their core customer base of iPhone users primarily. And I think the Apple TV needs to develop some new features that would align maybe with what Android TV is doing. But Apple TV is there, so you have integration with Siri.
Right.
You can find
so
your
you can
content.
have that full sort of voice assistant thing going on with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So if I get a new telly tomorrow and it's got all this stuff, am I just being listened to then by Google or whatever the whole time? Is there nothing I can do about it?
No, you are not being listened to. So they make it very clear that, especially if you talk to Amazon about this, that they don't listen, they don't send to the cloud any of what the device
there's been a lot of stories about that.
Yes, so that's yeah.
So it's not like I'm buying this Orwellian spy device, whether I like it or not. I do have control over.
Yes,
sort of.
and there have been some cases where, like Vizio in the US, had some issues, and they were put to trial, and they had to pay some fines because of that, etc. So, it's very, very well known, and you shouldn't do that basically anymore.
So you mentioned Amazon. They were the pioneers with the smart speaker. So you could argue that they were pioneers for the smart home, the connected home through that device. Are they falling behind a bit now that things are shifting more embedded into the TV?
Yeah, no, they've invested a lot in that. So Amazon Fire TV devices, like the media streamer, so the TV stick or the TV box is the #1 selling device for this category in many countries. So they're really competing quite well with Chromecast and Apple TV and Roku.
Right.
But when it comes to TVs themselves, with an operating system like we were mentioning, WebOS, Android TV, etc., then they're falling behind. They're not really as advanced. And also, you have to consider set-top boxes as well. So the Sky set-top box, or if you have like a set-top box from Virgin or something like that. So those devices are getting this voice AI interface as well.
Right.
And Android TV and Google has been much more successful to bring Android TV to those devices than Amazon has been.
Okay.
So that's really the next level. That's what's going to happen next year.
Are they going to start competing? Like if you've got a TV that's got it built in, and you're putting a dongle in, and you've got a set-top box, might you have 3 different sort of AI platforms all competing with each other?
Oh, already it's like that. So many households already have like many different platforms. But what's important to consider is where the content is.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, people want to access Games of Thrones or the latest Netflix original series or whatever. So wherever that's available is where people are going to go to. So
just to finish off, obviously the voice UI is vital for this sort of living room interaction. People don't we've already got the situation where if you're searching for something on Netflix, you got to like old school navigate around that little alphabet on the screen. Yeah. And it's a first world problem, but it's still a bit of a pain in the arse.
Yes, yeah.
So voice UI would be much better, but so long as it's really intuitive, so long as you don't have to go, hello telly, can I get this? And it gets you the wrong thing, and then you get yourself in a tangle. So I guess what I'm leading up to is I want to know how voice UI has progressed from back in the days where you actually had to train Dragon Naturally Speaking. Is it intuitive enough now where it's a really genuine alternative to the touch UI that we're used to?
It's not at that level to be an alternative necessarily to touch or the remote control, etc. It's getting there, but it's still going to take some time to get there. But we've seen significant progress in the accuracy of responses from those assistants and the voice UI. We conduct surveys every year, and the results from the survey from this year show a really big step change in terms of how people qualify their experience of voice UI. So it's much better. But then, it has to be useful, right? If you just tell your TV. So one of the top features being used on a daily basis for digital assistant is turning on and off the TV.
Right.
So would you call that an intelligent feature?
Doesn't require too much AI to process that.
It's just, on, off, right? So it's the word. But so that's a starting point. So we need to really get to the next level now.
Yeah.
So that is working very well. People love that, but we need to get things a bit more intelligent.
I suppose you'd want, you could just have a compound thing, like you walk into the living room after a hard day at work, and you go to your telly, you go, okay telly, stick on Game of Thrones season 4, episode 1, and then all that happens, this cascade of things happens, and you've got the natural language processing and the context awareness to do it properly. That's the immediate dream, I suppose.
That exists today. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you can do that today.
So what can we do tomorrow? To sign off with, what cool things are going to happen with this sort of technology?
I'll tell you what, tomorrow imagine you don't even have to talk to your TV. You just sit down and it just comes up. It knows what you want.
Scary. Get out my head, TV. Okay, that's brilliant. Thanks a lot, Ronan.
Yeah, you're welcome.